How do you do? Just gonna do a quick update on some of the things that I am growing and some of the things I'm looking forward to harvesting. One of the things I really enjoy growing is radishes. Last year I grew a China rose radish. It's a red radish. It's about 5-inch long and it's one of the oldest types of radishes. China rose. And this year I'm growing a white hailstone radish. Supposedly a amazing tasting radish. It's not as spicy as radishes normally are, because normally radishes has like a really strong kick to it, but this is like, it's almost a sweet radish. Weird. The radish leaves are actually pretty spicy. And it's starting to flower. The radish is actually starting to flower also. I have a lot of other things that's flowering too. Dwarf bok choy was flowering, but that's actually went to seed and I should be harvesting the seed soon. My scallions are starting to bud off baby scallions at the tips of their stalks. My salsify is also starting to flower too, and they have these really awesome purple flowers. And the stalks are about past my waist. They're pretty tall. That's starting to flower, and hopefully after I collect the seeds from that, I will eat the root. Another thing I'm looking forward to is the German butterball potato. I have a few of those in the ground, and the plants are getting pretty big. They're about 12 inches tall, and these potatoes were actually given to me by a friend. They're supposed to have an amazing taste, and the flesh is really like bright yellow, which is pretty interesting. They were ordered from Seed Savers Exchange. Seed Savers Exchange. It says here that it's the first place winner in the Rodale's Organic Gardening Taste Off. Yeah. Another thing I'm looking forward to is my runner beans. I have a trellis in the ground garden I have that I planted runner beans along. They're just shooting up this trellis and like stretching up, trying to get light. And I'm sure in about a month or two, this trellis will be like completely covered with runner bean leaves, which I'm pretty interested in. So, runner beans, here you come. I also have a ton of stuff in my container garden. The container garden's in my driveway, and I have buckets that I drilled holes into. And along the side of the container gardens, I have a bunch of things that I'm really looking forward to see produce food. Like the Guatemalan blue banana squash. I am really looking forward to this guy. This is my first time planting this, so hopefully everything works out. Yeah, I have them growing alongside my container garden. The plants are pretty happy. Some of them I had planted too close together, so I had to move and transplant to different spots. They didn't seem too happy about that, but they're troopers, so I believe in you and I believe that they will grow. And as they grow, I'm actually going to add wire to the upright trellis that I plan on putting together. I already have the stakes put into the ground, so upright trellis. I'm gonna grow these upright. Some other things I planted in the container gardens I have two varieties of cantaloupes. This is experimental. These are dwarf cantaloupes. So I'm really looking forward to these guys. They're Sikkim cucumber. It's a weird cucumber looking thing. It's a cucumber, but it's weird. And then I have Mexican sour gherkin, which is also part of the cucumber family, and they're pretty small. They look like small watermelons, like bite-sized watermelons. But yeah, my container garden's doing really good. I have a bunch of kale that I planted, dino kale. I have them in 1-gallon pots. The garlic I planted over the fall is looking pretty good. Should be harvesting that around August, come August. So, wish me luck on the garlic. Pink crispy is a Jerusalem artichoke. A pink Jerusalem artichoke. which I'm growing containers. I have the Jerusalem artichoke grown in the yard, and I have Jerusalem artichokes grown in containers. It's a very experimental process because I do get more sun in my driveway, and if the buckets weren't there, it would just be asphalt. Container gardens are really cool because you can utilize space and you can move them around and tend to each plant without really any hassle. I'm gonna start getting into making compost teas, manure teas, and things to really boost the growth of my plants. So that should be coming soon. Teas for plants. Speaking of teas, I've just brewed this. This is a gallon of reishi mushrooms. I can't pronounce that. Reishi mushrooms. This is a Japanese medicinal mushroom. Supposedly this is really good for boosting your immune system and overall health, and cardiovascular, and just a lot of things. Pretty interesting. Reishi mushrooms. They're really cool looking. They're very, very beautiful mushrooms. But the Chinese and Japanese been using this for a long time. I want to start venturing into growing mushrooms. If you don't know, there's a guy named Paul Stamets who is actually, he's a mycologist, and that's what people who study mushrooms are called, mycologists. A mycologist who's trying to bring awareness about the valuable and importance of mushrooms and things of that nature, and how important they are to an environment. But yeah, he sells things to actually garden with mushrooms, because fungi are actually supposed to really help and aid the growth of your plants. And you can do this by growing alongside with edible mushrooms, and also help your garden grow. And growing mushrooms are very simple, and I want to get into growing mushrooms because they're very expensive, and there are so many varieties of gourmet mushrooms and medicinal mushrooms that I would like to start growing. Yeah, kind of off subject, but on subject. But yeah, that's just an update on what I'm growing, and I'll have more updates as I go, so stay tuned.